Basketball in the state of Indiana is a lot like what football is for Texas. I mean, it's a big deal around here, especially at the high school level. Every single kid at some point has picked up a ball in their driveway and shot around with their parents or their siblings, or they've gone to the park and formed these incredible bonds, that have, for a lot of people, have carried with them into their adult life. And it's this love of basketball that is really grown here from an early age, that a lot of people consider it's just a part of them here. It's just different than anywhere else.
It was like NBA games where you had standing room only, and that's what you did on a Friday night. Like, you didn't do anything else. If you weren't at the game, what were you doing?
Basketball in general in Indiana has always been a big thing. And, I got to play in the state finals when I was in high school. But, basketball is it's king here in Indiana.
At Munster High School, the boys basketball program gets a lot of the attention during the winter months, and deservedly so. They've had a great 20-year stretch. They've won a lot of games and a lot of tournaments and a lot of sectionals, even some regionals mixed here and there. They have an outstanding coach in Mike Hackett, who's done an incredible job with the program over the last 2 decades, and being able to sustain that amount of success for that long. You look outside the gym and, there's very few things that they haven't won, that's in that trophy case outside the gymnasium. And even on the walls, you can see, the sectional championships and regional championships and all the things that the boys basketball program has won over the years. You go to a boys game during the winter and it's a ruckus atmosphere. It's as Indiana basketball gets. It's loud. The cheerleaders seem to have an extra level of energy. There's the band and the student section that goes wild. It's really a ruckus affair, and it's part of what makes high school basketball just different here. The girls' basketball program at Munster High School has had considerably less success than the boys' program historically. But you got the feeling that tide might be turning a little bit, coming into 2019. They got a great transfer in Sarah Zabrecki from a rival school in Lake Central. A great scorer, super skilled, is going to play D1 basketball at St. John's next year. It just really a key piece to what Munster had been building over the last few years. They had some successful seasons, but you always felt that there were 1 or 2 pieces away from really contending to try and win something and find some tangible legitimacy.
To start the beginning of the year, we find out we're going to have Sarah. We get her in the preseason, and not sure how's all how's she going to fit into everything. Obviously, she was a really good basketball player, but how's the rest of the girls going to take to her? How's she, going to fit in with the rest of the team, that kind of stuff. Beginning of the year, we were a little worried. We didn't know how it was going to work out.
I couldn't be more grateful for them. They've supported me when I came in here. They didn't have to accept me right away, but they did, and I couldn't be more thankful for them. They're my sisters, so I'm grateful for them.
Holly Kime was another forward that was huge for Munster to get back. She played varsity minutes as a freshman and then decided not to play her sophomore year, and her deciding to come back and play, she played very well as a freshman, so getting that interior presence it can't be overstated how much of an impact Holly Kime had on Munster's 2019 season.
There's so many different things you can do in the sport of basketball. There's so many different aspects. Whereas in some other sports, there's not as much diversity. With basketball, you can score, you can play defense, you can rebound, you can just be physical. You can do a million different things and help the team. So I kind of just really enjoy the uniqueness of the sport.
You add those 2 players to a roster that is mostly returning from last year, there's a lot of experience, and you think there might be a chance that they can pull this off. We get into the season and I'm shooting and recording games like I normally do, but I noticed something that's a little bit different. Anytime Munster broke a huddle, whether it was during a timeout or at the end of the quarter or whatever, they broke with the word family. And I was curious about where that came from, because that's something new that I hadn't heard before in the 2 years prior that I've been here.
I mean, that came from the girls. That wasn't something that the coaches even did. It's just, you know, like I said, you could tell that they're close, and that was one of the things that they wanted, you know, felt strongly about. And they started that in our preseason. Every time they teamed it up, it was always family, and it's just continued all season long.
That pretty much started like right as preseason did. It was basically just to make everyone connect better, and it really did work. Like, because a lot of us like didn't even know, like last year, a lot of us didn't even know like who was on the freshman team and didn't know any of their names and didn't know anything. But then this year, like everyone's like more like connected in a way.
I feel like family is a big theme this year because we just really want to work together in the court, because we do the most damage when we're working together. So we try to implement that into every aspect of our game, and it's really shown throughout the season.
We just wanted to like include everyone and make sure all 3 levels of the program were connected in some way.
Honestly, it's a family. Like, I have met so many great people, and I have become friends with so many great people through Munster basketball. And I've also learned a lot, stuff that you can't learn in the classroom, you can't learn from your family, you just need to learn by playing on a team.
We never really said that when we went in the huddle before. We said like Mustangs or something like that. And now I think like the progress that we've made as a team, like chemistry-wise, from my freshman year is astounding. I feel like now more than ever, family actually makes sense. We work together, we bleed, sweat, and cry together. We basically just work our butts off to win games together as a family. And like, these are girls that I can come to with problems, whether it's my shots off or if I'm having trouble with friends. So I'd call them my family. I'd say that's a fair statement.
Going into this year, it was like, one of our goals was to be closer and just get along. So we came up with the idea of family and picking each other up when like things don't go our way, and just looking at the positive side of everything.
This is my second family, and these are the people who, if I had the choice, I would play basketball with them forever. I mean, they're amazing girls, and they mean everything to me.
It occurred to me pretty early on in the year that this wasn't something that was just being said just to say it. Like, as more games progressed, you really started to see both on and off the court in the way that the team talked to each other, that this wasn't just a throwaway phrase, you know, to try and rally the team together because, you know, it's just what we say. Now, this was like an active bond that was being formed this season through these girls, and each game you could really sense that it was very real, you know. It wasn't just a throwaway phrase. Like, this was an active thing that was happening. Early on to start the year, Munster goes on this roll, I mean, of 12 straight games. I mean, it's just, and playing some really, really good teams, you know, at home, really defending their home floor, and, you know, finding different ways to win on different nights. This, almost like this team was really built for this. And the more they played, the more you saw that this team was capable of a lot.
We were on a roll. I mean, we were playing really well. We knocked off Chesterton and LaPorte, some really good teams. They're in the top 60 in the state. So things were going, you know, really looking up for us and going really well.
Munster goes 2 straight months. They don't lose a game. They win their first 12 games. And then they hit the holiday tournament at the beginning of January at Lake Central. And that was very humbling for them, I think. There was this lack of guard play. They had some girls out with injuries and really had to go with a different platoon, having Sarah do a lot of the ball handling capabilities. Not that she's not capable, but she's much better off the ball. and having the ball in her hands as much as she did really allowed defenses to key in on her, especially that weekend. And you go from being undefeated, 12-0, and by the end of the weekend, you have 3 losses, out of the 4 games you play. That's a gut punch for a lot of teams.
We kind of got exposed, I think, in that Lake Central tournament because we started to play a little bit better competition, and without Alina, we learned a lot about what we couldn't do or weren't as good at and what we needed to fix.
I think it was beneficial, in the long run, looking back on it now, to see this team, how they respond after getting punched in the mouth a little bit.
Sarah is a leader. I think she works really hard. I'm excited to see where she goes after high school with her basketball career. She definitely changed our team a lot. She brought a lot to the table with her shot and her skills. And she's pretty funny, even though she makes fun of me a lot.
Sarah, she's a big leader. She's always helping people. She's very patient.
She's so goofy. I'm glad that she came to our school because she completes our team. Because with her, we have a solid group of girls. Yeah, I don't know. She's someone I can count on and off the court.
Sarah, that's she's been refreshing. She's a kind of a coach's dream, so to speak. I mean, she's obviously skilled. She does, she lives and breathes basketball. She's going to go play Division I basketball at St. John's, all those great things. But I think the coolest thing about Sarah is she's so coachable. She's fun to be around. She's a great teammate. Those are things that I don't think everybody always, knows about her. They see the basketball part of it. They see the 20 points a game, those kinds of things. But, she's the first one to take a charge. She's the first one to get somewhere and help someone up when they do something right. She'll pull the team together when things aren't going well, and she'll give them a little pep talk, right after I'm done talking to them, she'll grab them on the floor and she'll talk to them about something. All those little intangible things that you need. You need a player that can do those things for you, as a coach, because it's hard as a coach. You want to tell them everything to do, but the bottom line is the game of basketball is so fast, and then when it starts to become loud, things like that, you just can't control everything that they do. They got to be able to think and do things on their own. So it's nice to have someone that understands the game as well as she does and gets along well enough with the players and has the respect of the rest of the team enough for her to be able to, tell them what they need to do or what she doesn't think they're doing or whatever she might feel that she needs to do. But it's been a real joy. I wish I would have had an opportunity to coach her for 4 years, but I'm happy that I got the opportunity to coach her for 1 year.
So Sarah, coming in this year, she was new to the team, but she was not shy at all. She came in just making her jokes and being herself, and she's just an amazing influence and how good of a player she is. And she's just unafraid of anything and willing to say what she feels, and it helps you, grow with the constructive criticism.
Sarah, she's been the cherry on top, I'd say, for our program. Not knowing that she was going to be a transfer in, she has been the last puzzle piece to all the hard work that we've done, and has come in and has been a leader on the court. For all the younger kids to kind of look up to, a true role model in the basketball sense, and is a joy to be around, because I don't think I've ever seen somebody talk during drills as much as she can do and does do, and so it does bring a sense of laughter and fun to every single practice.
She always thinks beyond basketball. What is she going to do in the future? And she says her career is going to be a priority to her, and she wants to eventually be an assistant coach or a coach for a basketball team.
First one to pick up a teammate. I mean, she's the first one to lay her body on the line and take a charge. She's there for her teammates. She always says, that's my family.
Sarah is an amazing leader, and I feel like I've learned a lot from her this year, not only by her leadership, but as well as her skills and everything. And she's super competitive, which makes the game fun, and she's a really hard-working player, and you can build off of her competitiveness and just improve yourself and improve the team.
She'll be injured, and you won't know she's injured because she'll never tell you, because she just wants to be on the court 24/7, wants the ball 24/7. Is just by far the best team leader you could have ever asked for on a team. Is a beautiful person inside and out. No matter how mean she could be to you, she does it out of love. So, yeah.
Sarah Bear, my girl. Oh wow, Sarah, she is definitely one of the funniest people I have ever met in my life. Through endless times hanging out and all these Christmas Eve and Thanksgiving stuff we go to, she will never fail to make you laugh. She always has something to say and something to argue, but a funny argument to where it's like you don't even want to argue anymore because she's just making it funny, and it's just, you can't take it seriously. But Sarah is, she's so dedicated to basketball, and it's her everything, and she never fails to show it. She's like my sister, and she's not just my sister, but she's like my best friend too, and we're always there for each other, and she's everything to me, and she means a lot, truly does.
In talking with the girls throughout the season, I found out that there were a slate of goals that they had set for themselves in 2019 and 2020, and one of them was to finally win their conference, the Northwest Crossroads Conference. And one of the big obstacles in the way of that at the end of the season was Kankakee Valley. KV is actually very similar to Munster in the way that they play. They'll throw different looks at you, they're very well coached, they have shooters, they'll hit you with different defensive pressures and looks. They're very good at what they do, and that's a big reason as to why they've sat at the top of the NCC for the last 4 years. And so getting over that hump and finally being able to, on their home floor, take it to KV and kind of show them that there's a new order was it was a challenge for sure.
It's been 10 years since we've won a conference title. We've had groups in the past that when they've had big games, they've kind of folded a little bit, just didn't meet the challenge. And this team, up to this point, when they've been confronted with the challenge, they've been able to step up and come through big.
So we get into the game and things start off really well. Holly Keim gets a putback off of one of Sarah's misses, and Munster goes up by 2.
Sullivan in the right corner. Right elbow goes to Zabrecki. Zabrecki short on that shot. Keim gets the offensive board, puts it up and in, and Munster strikes first.
And you think, all right, we might have something here. That's a really good start. And then Sarah finds Nikki Sullivan on a 3 in the corner out of his own look.
Goal area of girls basketball. Nikki Sullivan, left side 3 on the way, scores it. Nikki Sullivan gets her first jumper to go on the night, 5-2 Mustangs.
And go at 5-2. Nikki wasn't a great shooter all year, but she knocked one down there. It was like, all right, luck might be on our side. And then Sarah comes down off a fast break and hits a floater in the lane, and all right, the offense is really clicking here to start the game, and things were looking pretty good. By the end of the half, the Munster extends the lead back up to 9, and they're up 26-17, and you're like, yeah, like we're really, the energy was good. It was a very defensive. They let them play a lot. There was a lot of contact. It's a game to pretty much decide the winner of the conference. And Munster was the more physical team in that first half. They come out in the second half and things start to pick up right where they left off. Emily Zabrecki hits a 3 from the right wing and they go up by 12. It's 29-17, it's early in the third quarter, and all the momentum is with Munster. It absolutely was. Until it wasn't. Munster turns it over, they give up an and one in transition. Still not a big deal yet, you're still up 9. And then a couple possessions later, they hit a 3 off an inbound, and then it's down to 6. And then they go ahead and they come down and they hit another 3. And now you look up and it's a 3-point game, and your 12-point lead has pretty much evaporated at that point. Munster doesn't box out. They leave a shooter, gets her own miss, and then puts up a shot from the left wing. Another possession and another defensive letdown for the Mustangs. And then the next possession right after that, they give up a middle drive and a spin for an easy layup. And it's a 1-point game. It's 31-30 with still plenty of time left to go in the third quarter. Then Sarah comes down and she tries to put a stop to the momentum by herself, and she just drives straight into 2 girls and picks up a charge.
Sarah Zabrecki over to the defender, puts it up. No! It's an offensive foul. They call the charge.
I remember looking up at the scoreboard and just being like, there's no way. This can't be happening right now. Like, not like this. And then sure enough, Kankakee Valley comes down. They get another drive from the left side and just go in and they take their first lead of the night after being down 12 in the same quarter. And they end that quarter on a 17-5 run. With their season on the line, Munster needed some baskets, and they needed them from their best players. They needed some players to step up. There's 8 minutes left to go win your conference title against a team that has kept you from it for so long, and they needed players to step up to the challenge. Sarah came out of the gates to start that fourth quarter and really looked like she was on a mission, like she wasn't going to let anything stop her from getting that conference title that Munster had been aiming for so long. She comes down, she hits 2 big shots to open up the quarter and puts Munster up 38-34.
Sarah Zabrecki got space, right elbow jumper. Nothing but net.
After that, it was Holly who really stepped up and hit 2 big shots underneath to push the lead to 42-34. Munster's now back up by 8, and they've regained all the momentum. It was just like that, and it was in a blink of an eye. There's 1 minute left in the game after Kankakee Valley hits some free throws. Munster is up by 4. And Kayla Zeal is at the free throw line to effectively pretty much end it, make a comeback pretty much, I don't want to say impossible, but very difficult. And she comes up and misses the front end of a 1-on-1. And I can't imagine what was going through her head, but that really had to sting. Because now you got to play defense, and there's still plenty of time, and it was really rough, I think, and you felt the air come out of the building. Kankakee Valley calls a timeout, and then they come out and they get a really good designed set to get a downhill drive. And they miss a point-blank layup. There's a scramble for the ball, and who comes up with it but the 5'3", if we're being generous, Kayla Zeal. And she is fouled and has to go back to the free throw line where she shot just a little bit over 60%. She's one of the lower percentage free throw shooters on the team. And she has a chance to make up for the free throw that she just missed at the other end. And redemption can be so sweet sometimes.
Kayla Zeal, who just went down the floor last time and missed the front end of the 1-on-1, comes right back. Let's see what she's made of.
So it's 60%, 62% for her.
Gets this one to go.
There you go.
Good recovery right there for Kayla Zeal's first point of the night.
Putting it at a 5-point game.
Gets them both to go.
But not only does she knock down both free throws, she comes down defensively at the other end and completely seals the game and the conference title by taking a very clutch charge with just under a minute left.
Here comes KV in a hurry. Clock rolling, down by 6.
Now you're going to have to go for the
no way. Offensive foul.
Man, the heart from Sarah and Holly and Kayla to come back after previous mistakes and really show up when their team needed them big, that was huge. Most teams would crumble, you know, once that momentum has kind of gone away from them. Munster didn't blink. They came out right away in that fourth quarter and showed that no, this was ours to win. And seeing the hard work for those girls pay off was, I can't even describe what it was like to be in that building after that game.
What was that? Fourth and fifth grade, I think, was the first time she started playing organized park league up in Chicago with a bunch of the kids from the neighborhood. She had a lot of fun with that. Don't know if we knew that she'd be a varsity ball player one day, but she certainly enjoyed the heck out of that.
Delaney loved playing any sport, anytime, when she was a little kid.
And her teams also always won the championship, so that's what kept her going.
So we're actually both just really proud of her. She's always had kind of that team player mentality. She's always been a really smart player. She's always loved the X's and O's part of it. She really kind of developed into more of a shooter in the last few years, and really just learned how to overcome adversity on the court, which I think is making her a stronger person off the court as well.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, she's definitely grown. She's always been she's always wanted to pass and play defense and be good at that and be able to help her teammates. You'll see her pointing at everybody else, telling them what they need to do. And then Beth ends up yelling at her and telling her that she needs to be in place.
Which is true.
But the point is she's only doing that out of caring for being part of the team. So I agree with Renee. She's only recently, the last couple of years, become a scorer, and whatever she can contribute, she knows that, you know, it's needed and it's, you know, it's a good thing. So
I always thought I was going to be taller than her. Ended up I wasn't. We started AU basketball together, and we just grew better friends as basketball got more intense.
Delaney, she's really caring, and she really works extremely hard, and she's extremely smart off the court and on the court as well.
Delaney, you know, she started as a freshman, well, didn't start, but she started playing varsity as a freshman. We weren't a great team at that time, so it was an opportunity for her to come up and help us. She's always been a good shooter. We've been working for 4 years to try to get her to be more physical, and then she's had setbacks with, you know, with concussions and different things like that. That's obviously hampered her and probably even caused her to not want to become as physical as what we would like her to be. But the things that she's done for us over the years, you know, very thankful for. She's just a fun person to be around. If you've ever seen her at practice, well, you see her here before games and stuff. She's a goofy kid. She's always laughing about something, very emotional, good and bad. I think the emotions sometimes are negative, but sometimes they're a positive for her. So it's just trying to control them and direct them. But she's had trouble with that her whole career. And, you know, hopefully in the future, whether it be by the end of the basketball season or just in the future, she gets to the point where she can get her emotions and stuff under control and understand how wonderful a person she is and how much she can really accomplish in pretty much whatever she wants to do.
Delaney has given me a lot of great advice, even like about school, what classes to take. She's so smart that I feel like I could ask her a lot of questions that so many people can't answer. And even, I mean, a while at practice ago, we were talking about like what to do after high school and like what was her plans, and she's inspired me with like a lot of educational stuff, and like I really love the fact that she's so into science and like into engineering, and she wants to pursue that stuff. And even she was always helping me on like shots, and I really appreciate her. She's a great teammate.
Delaney, she's fun to joke around with. I love pranking her, joking around with her, because she just takes it and then she'll come back with me with a joke. But she's a great person to be around, and I love hanging out with her outside of basketball.
Delaney. Oh, Delaney, Dolores, Delante, all my little nicknames for her. She's literally one of the most happiest people you could ever meet. Like, she makes everyone feel included, always asks you how you're doing, if you're okay. And she's just that person that, oh my God, she's so loving, and just, I could hug her all the time if I wanted to. I do that to annoy her all the time, but she she'll always be able to make you laugh, smile, make your day, and just, she'll always have something stupid to say, but then I'll add to it, which makes it even better. Delaney is my BFF, for sure. She's cool.
Delaney I've been with for 5 years, believe it or not. So I taught her as an 8th grader. She has definitely grown a lot as a person, has come into figuring out kind of who she is and watching her grow as both an athlete, a student athlete, and a person has been a remarkable experience for me. She has been a leader, taking these younger kids, and more specifically, she has been a leader for my JV team this season, taking them under her wing and being there for them in every aspect, school, friends, basketball, anything. She will be there in the drop of a dime for them, and I can't thank her enough for that. Her season, you know, she has had her ups and downs, and it's showing her a lot of growth as a person, and probably most importantly, you know, just kind of thanking her for always being there for me these past 5 years, because we've been through a lot together.
Delaney is so funny. She just, I don't know, she makes you laugh so hard with the stuff she says, and like even in school she'll come up to you and just say something so funny and just makes you laugh. She's been playing for 4 years, so to get to know each other throughout the 4 years and see her grow as a player and as a person is just a nice thing.
Amy knows how to make a shot at the right time, for sure. She always is there when you need her to be there.
Delaney, you gotta love Delaney. She just keeps going no matter what. Kind of like Isha, they just keep going no matter what's happening. She'll knock shots down when the time is right, and it's great playing with her. You know, you can talk to her with whatever you need to. School, on the court, off the court, it's great. She's such a great person just to be around, lift your spirits up. It's super easy to relate to her for a bunch of different people on a bunch of different levels.
Where do I even start with Delaney? A beautiful soul. Like, she's such I don't know how to describe her besides being an old soul. Like, she puts others before herself, is one of the most caring people you could find, especially, like, even for a senior. Like, you would never expect someone, like, from her age to try to kind of, like, buddy up with the freshmen and be like, you know what, I'm gonna help you through this. You know what, I'm gonna be there for you. Just and she's a hardworking person. Just an overall package of a person. Yeah.
Senior night is a big deal, not just for the seniors themselves, but also the teammates who are having to say goodbye to these people who, in the case of Emily, both Emilys and Delaney, who've been there for 4 years, or even someone like Sarah, who was only here for 1 year but had a tremendous impact on the program. It's emotional because it's the last time that those players will ever play a game in the Munster Fieldhouse. It's a celebration and also like a bittersweet farewell, because it really is, especially this year and for as many varsity games that group played in, especially those 3, it really, for them, I think, hit harder, than most years.
I think I'm going to be an emotional wreck as opposed to never, because I'm always an emotional wreck.
I'm going to cry. It's so weird that this is like coming to an end, because I've been here for 4 years, and it's just weird to think that this is going to be my last time playing.
It's going to be kind of a little bit emotional, but I'm happy to graduate. I'm happy to move on.
I'm thankful to these seniors that they've continued and created this atmosphere for us. They're fun to be around. They're fun to coach. Yes, we're winning, but I not that I want to go back and see what it would be like if we weren't winning, but I think we would have a great time and we would be happy, and this group would be the same. They love to play basketball, but they love to have fun, and thank God they love to work hard too.
they give it their all between the classroom and coming every day, and it's a good community, the parent support, the school support, and just overall awesome kids. It makes it what's enjoyable. And then also, like, I love to coach because outside of the classroom I get to see different personalities, true personalities, and it's always interesting, for sure.
Hey dude, happy senior night.
Don't make me cry! I'm not okay with that. I can't cry anymore. Can't cry, no tears.
Oh, there will be lots of tears. Yeah, it hasn't even started yet.
They have they started yet? Is that what you asked?
No, the festivities haven't started yet.
Oh, I cried in my car on the way here, so.
Go with that first.
It's okay.
One of the other cool parts about senior night was seeing Kaya Vesa, one of the managers, be able to go through with warm-ups with the team and go through senior night. She was a player her first couple years of high school, but she had a bunch of knee injuries and just wasn't able to play her senior year. And so getting to see her take the court that night and, you know, go through the rituals before the game and really take the floor one last time as a Mustang was really cool to see. She also gave a really moving and touching speech to her mom before the game, who's an assistant coach of the program and has done an outstanding job with the girls all year. It was really awesome to see that.
I missed playing basketball so much, and it was really hard making the decision not to play this year with my knee surgeries my sophomore year. But I knew that I had to be part of the team because our team was going to be great, and I wanted to be around that energy.
I say generally, like, she's a nice and caring person, and she's very, very funny. Yeah. You do not want to get on her her bad side.
Yeah, she makes you want to, like, at least try to laugh, or at least try to smile. I mean, it may not always work, but I mean, she tries, which I think it's pretty cool of her. Pretty good. Yeah.
It was also an opportunity to highlight the other aspects of the program that should be celebrated and that should be worth pointing out. And so I asked the girls and everyone else, why should upcoming players play at Munster? And this is some of the responses we got.
You know, if you asked this question 7, 8, 9 years ago, it would be tough for me to answer it. But right now, I think this program is headed in the right direction. Like I said, we have some young coaches, not counting myself, but I have some young coaches around me that are really gung-ho about doing the right thing and helping these girls out. We have a great group of girls. We have a great group of families that are a part of this.
I made a lot of friendships that are like unforgettable. Like the jokes and the laughs is definitely one of my favorite parts. I'll miss the coaching staff. They definitely have like helped me through a lot.
I mean, no matter the type of practice we had or the hard days we've had, I wouldn't have wanted to miss a second of the season because it's meant the world to me these last 4 years and the last 12 years of playing. I can genuinely say that like this has been my life and I wouldn't have wanted to change a second of it for the world.
It's just a lot of fun. You're going to meet a lot of people that you might not just at school. And it could be tough sometimes, but you know, it's worth it.
Honestly, I didn't think I was going to come out. I was like, you know what, I played 7th and 8th grade, it was fun. I don't know if I can top that, but freshman year, by far the most fun. Like, it'd be 7th and 8th grade basketball. It was so much fun. Like, you make so many new friends that, like, it's a different type of bond when you see the person every single day, 6 days a week, after school, in the morning, and then later in the day because you have a game. It's just so much fun.
You just make a lot of friends, and then when you're walking through the halls and they say hi to you, it's like the best feeling ever. It's just a great atmosphere to be around. And at the end of the day, after school, you get to go see all your friends.
I feel like the program is really fun and you'll enjoy yourself. And we're really competitive, so like the competitive adds to the fun, and it's just a really good team, and you'll really have fun.
Even on the hard days, we find a way to get through it together, and we motivate ourselves and push through all the bad things that come our way.
Because it's rewarding. Like when you just do good, it's just nice. It's nice to do good.
When I'm at my lowest point, I go to the gym. When I'm bored, I go to the gym. When I'm not feeling the best, I go to the gym. It helps me through a lot of what I go through sometimes on a daily, but basketball is like my escape from everything, so.
I have loved so much about it, and it is nothing what I expected it to be. But I have grown so much closer with upperclassmen, with the lowerclassmen, just everyone around, and I realized that like everyone is really, we have such a great team. So many people, the freshman team, JV, varsity, we have so many great people on this team, and I'm very happy to be part of it.
It keeps you busy, it's great with cooperation, teamwork. Like I said before, it's just a fun game, and everybody's super supportive, and I just would encourage them to keep playing and to have fun, do their best.
One of the other things that I didn't want to get lost was just how good of a year that junior varsity had. They are an outstanding group of girls. They're extremely fun to be around, and there was no drop-off in play from junior varsity to the varsity level, and I don't think that was by accident.
I think the culture here definitely, over the past 5 years since I've been here, has definitely changed in a positive way. We have demonstrated the idea that we are truly a family. And it's the positivity, the emotions, the friendships that have formed from the beginning to where we are today. I mean, it's remarkable to see the hard work and the dedication and the passion that's been put into this, both through the coaches and the athletes. I guess the dynamic at the JV level is you are always like it's almost kind of like you're always a guinea pig. You know, you're the ones that varsity tests things out on. You're the one that has to, get pushed or pushed around a lot, and you never know kind of coming in what we're doing for the day, because one day you could play defense the entire time, and the other day you could be playing offense the entire time. But looking kind of at the idea of like JV, it definitely is. They're hard-working kids because they want to get to that next level. And when we're placed with the varsity for practice, it's their opportunity to show the varsity coaches what they can do and how much they've improved. And so it definitely can take a toll on you because, again, one day you're doing JV stuff in the sense of being the defensive guinea pigs, the offensive guinea pigs. East Dog has made one of the probably biggest transformations. Seeing the growth that she has done from even last season to this season and even throughout this season is remarkable. Having her on the court is awesome. She has just improved so much, and she's hardworking, she's goofy, and she is just a fun kid to be around and a good kid throughout everything that she does.
Isha plays her heart out. She goes out there, she rebounds as hard as she can. She pushes everybody around. I've never seen anyone play as hard as she does. No matter what's going on, she's always playing hard. Things aren't going her way, she doesn't stop. She just keeps playing, does what she can to the best of her ability for the team.
She works so hard, and if that's one thing you remind her of, that's perfectly fine because her work ethic every day at practice is outstanding, and I couldn't even give her more credit for what she does. Even if she's not even in the game the whole time, she's on the bench, she's cheering us all on, she's picking us up, so I'm grateful for having all these girls on my side, the whole team, this whole season.
Ishla Wish Lemon Squish, that's my girl. Isha. Always, whenever we're walking in the locker room, her laugh, wow, is it funny? And she's so positive, no matter what happens, even in a game, let's say she doesn't get playing time, we'll talk and she'll be like, she won't be upset or crying about it. She's just she's still cheering, and she's just the type of person that will forever cheer you on in life. And if anyone has her as a best friend, stay with her, because she's literally she's someone who will always stick by your side no matter what happens or what goes on in your life. She's literally one of the most genuine people I've ever met.
Each dog is a great teammate. She is always encouraging, always one of the loudest cheers from the bench. And on the court, she works hard, she hustles, she does her job, so that's always good. It's what you look for in a teammate.
Isha, such a funny girl, such a funny girl. You never know what she's gonna say, but when she says it, it always tends to make you smile. A big body, kind of like Holly. She's a big body, always working hard. Such a nice girl. Always working hard, just always wanting to improve every single practice. Every single practice she's working on something different that she wants to improve on, whether it be shooting, driving, boxing out, rebounding, whatever she's working on that practice, it always stands out.
She's another one that she's gone through a lot in her 4 years. She came in as a freshman, she played freshman on the freshman team, didn't even play JV as a freshman. She's worked her tail off to get to the point where she became she's playing some really good minutes for us right now. Here, as of late, these last, with some injuries and things like that, she's found herself out on the floor a lot more than she had earlier in the season, and she's, credit to her, she's been prepared, to do it. It would have been real easy for her not playing a lot to not work as hard, to not be as prepared, and all of a sudden when she gets thrown out there, not be able to perform. And that's not her. That's not the way she does things. Like I said, she started off on the freshman team. She had all kinds of knee problems. She's had a knee surgery and had shots in her knee to try to deal with the pain and stuff like that. So she's played a couple years in a lot of pain. And I think probably this year is the first year that I think she would say she's been able to play. I know it's not pain-free. She still wears the knee pad and everything or that knee brace. But I would say this is probably the least amount of pain she's probably been in since she's been here at high school. She's a great practice player, a great teammate, and every team needs a player like her. Not everybody's going to be playing 25, 30 minutes a game. But whenever they have to go against the starters every day in practice, are you willing to work hard and push them? Are you willing to continue to work hard knowing that I don't even know if I'm going to play in this next game? And she does. She does. She does it with a smile on her face. She comes to everything. So, she's another one that it's going to be tough doing without her, missing her next year, just because of what she brought to us. It's hard to find players that are like her and are as quality of a person as Emily Isha is. So she's going to be very missed.
When Emily was in 3rd grade, she asked the teacher for a drink, and the teacher told her no. And she had eaten something that tasted bad. And I said, why didn't you tell the teacher that it tasted so bad? And she said, because the kid that made it sat in front of the teacher's desk. And if she told the teacher she needed a drink because the food tasted bad, it would hurt his feelings because he sat in the front and he would hear her say that. So she just went back and sat in her seat because she didn't want to hurt his feelings, because she knew that he had spent a lot of time making the treat for the whole class and she didn't want to hurt his feelings. So she really always thinks about other people, and that makes me happy that she does. She's always been like that.
Oh my God. Okay. Isha is the kindest person I think I've ever met. She has always been so nice to me, and not only me, but to everyone around her. She is literally the sweetest person, and she's always has a smile on her face, and even when she doesn't, she'll try to make you smile. And no one, you can't find people like that, ever. You just can't find someone who's just genuinely that nice. And I have just so many fun memories with her, just being a goofball, and she was the one who persuaded me to do track, and I was so thankful for that, and even just hanging out, just
she's always such a good person, fun to be with. And I loved every minute spending time with her.
One of the other big goals, probably arguably the biggest goal that the Munster Mustangs had for 2019 and 2020, was to go win a sectional championship. I mean, that was end goal number one. Like that was the main objective for this season. And they had the chance to do that on February 8th. They had played a really tough physical game against Maryville the previous night that they barely squeaked by in. A very good Maryville team that was very long, quick, and athletic. And they were able to get to the final round, and they had to go through the Lake Central Indians. Lake Central is a very physical team. They play you physical up and down for 32 minutes. They have great shooters from outside. They're very well coached. They have their motion is very good. They move the ball from side to side. Something that I'll never forget was when I was filming shoot-around before the game, and even for shoot-around it was very loud, and you felt nervous. At least I did. I could say that, like, knowing what this game meant, Munster hasn't won a sectional title in 10 years. You're playing your bitter rival on their home floor. It's basketball day in Indiana. Your best player played for this school the previous year, and all the progress that you've made throughout the year can be kind of evaporated after this one game. So it really meant a lot. And I remember asking Delaney McGinty before the game during shoot-around, and I asked her, "Are you nervous?" And because I'll tell you what I was. I'm not gonna hide it. I was very nervous, like on their behalf, and I didn't have to go play a basketball game in 5 minutes. And I just remember Delaney just looked at me with a smile, and she just said, like, nothing to be worried about. And I think that was really indicative of Munster's mindset going into the game. It wasn't about the nerves, and all this other noise didn't matter. It was just, this is where we're locked in, we're focused, let's go, we're ready to go. The first couple minutes of the game are very back and forth. First, Lake Central gets a run out and a skip ahead down the court where they go down and get an and one, and they start the game off really strong. Then Sarah answers a couple possessions later and hits a big step-up three to get her night started off on the right foot.
Zabrecki now can push the tempo. Steps into a three and hits.
Well.
But then after that, Munster loses track of a girl, and Lake Central finds them on a broken press for an easy layup.
Last game,
nobody found Tomasic underneath.
And then Lake Central gets a steal and another run out to push the lead to 9-4, prompting Munster to call their first timeout, and Lake Central has the early advantage in the first quarter.
Emily Zabrecki contested, taken away, and then Zeal went down. It's a run out for Morales.
Munster's bench looking for, they're gonna get the timeout.
Good start for Lake Central. We got a 5-point lead halfway through this first quarter.
Out of that timeout, Munster really responded well. Nikki Sullivan hit Kayla Zeal off a baseline drive, and she hit a three that somehow rattled up around the rim and then dropped in. That was a huge shot for Kayla. And then a couple possessions later, Holly finds Sarah on a backdoor cut, then she puts in a jump shot. And we're tied at 9 at the end of the first quarter, just like that. So Munster really responded well after that first initial punch by Lake Central. Lake Central opens up the scoring in the second quarter. They go to their flex set and they get the cross screen that gets open underneath, and they get a layup out of that. But then Emily Zabrecki answers down at the other end after Kayla finds her, and she hits a big three from the left corner, and we're tied again at 12.
To start this second half, quick trigger from Zabrecki. Again, she's got this one.
A couple possessions later, Emily was again able to take advantage of Lake Central really denying their route on the perimeter, and she was able to cut back door. Zeal hit her with a nice pass for an easy two, and Munster really got that offense going in that second quarter when they needed it to try and bridge the gap and try and extend their lead a little bit. Towards the end of the half, Munster has the ball with just under 15 seconds left. Sarah brings the ball up the floor. She gets into a ball screen with Holly and hits Holly on this pocket pass. It was a great read by Sarah. Holly goes up, extends her arms, catches this ball. It was a really difficult catch. Is met by two defenders and somehow, some way, flips this ball like up behind her head, off the glass and in, and while being fouled. I still, to this day, have no idea how she was able to put that in.
Sarah on the roll. Tough catch for Kime. Brought it down. Flipped.
I even asked her after they came out of the locker room for the third quarter, I was like, how did you do that? And she was just like, I don't know. And then sometimes in a sectional championship, that's all the luck you need. Munster came out of the second half up by 3, and they came out really like they had something to prove in that second half. Their offense started clicking right away. There was good ball movement, there was good cutting. Everyone was playing unselfishly, their outside shots were working, and really they were able to take control of that game and extend their lead in that third quarter.
Kime as they save the possession. Zabrecki, big 3, hit it. That's a deep one for Sarah Zabrecki. Zabrecki passed up the 3, took it to the bucket. Munster right now nursing a 5-point lead. Drive here. Outside, McGinty. Delaney McGinty from deep.
Lake Central had kept pace with them up to that point, but in that fourth quarter, man, it was the cousin show. I mean, Sarah and Emily absolutely lit it up, especially in that second half, particularly in that fourth quarter.
Sarah Zabrecki able to split the double outside. You don't want to leave Emily Zabrecki open, and that is why she buries the 3.
The Blevins.
Well, that wasn't right, but all right. Zabrecki open off the inbound.
And she's feeling it now.
How about the performance from Emily Zabrecki?
Patience, I guess, if you're Munster.
Zabrecki off the curl.
Why?
Hits the 3. Sarah this time.
Why?
You didn't know when the comeback for Lake Central was going to happen. You just had a feeling deep down that it was.
Answer again. They're down 9. Morales got around the basket and puts it in.
Lake Central got back into the game with a series of downhill drives. They got an offensive rebound that they put back up and in.
Out of time, but
they get the steal. Taylor Jaksic turns. It's a one-possession game.
Lake Central climbs all the way back, and they get a spin and a drive towards the basket that they put in with just under 20 seconds left that ties the game at 44.
Otzi's out for Jaksic. Still a lot of time here. 20 seconds. Jaksic got some space to the basket. We are tied. Tie game with 18.7. Timeout taken here by Joe Huppenthal. 44 apiece.
And you can't help but feel like just exhausted. Like if this game goes to an overtime, you might explode. Like that was kind of the feeling, at least that I had internally, because it was so stressful and it was such a hard fought, physical, emotional game. I just didn't know that I could take any more of it, let alone what the players and the coaches were feeling. So we're tied at 44. There's a timeout. Munster's going to have the ball with just under 20 seconds left, and they have to go the length of the floor. And I remember running over to Munster's huddle and filming because I wanted to know, if you're Coach Davidson, you have a sectional title on the line with just under 20 seconds left, you have probably one possession. what are you drawing up to go win your first sectional title in 10 years? So Sarah brings the ball down and she dribbles into a crowd. It's kind of not a busted play, but it doesn't really have any flow to it to start the possession. And then she gives the ball to Kayla on the wing on a little handoff exchange. Kayla comes off towards the middle of the floor. She finds Holly at the high post. She catches it, rips it to her left hand, takes one dribble, and then just lays up probably the greatest shot that I've seen live and in person.
Don't give Elsie a chance to counter. Off for Kime. Kime got a step to the bucket! Wow. And the lead for Munster. You said it. Kime inside delivers the biggest bucket of her life.
It was absolute pandemonium how loud it was. You could just feel it was like an earthquake in there. It was just such a huge shot and a huge moment. And Holly delivered when Munster needed it big. Munster needs one more stop to seal the win. Lake Central has to go the length of the floor. You just need to guard for 2 seconds. And the rest is history.
They're going to have a little rover back there. Sarah Zabrecki's going to play rover.
They want to keep it from Tomasic. Morales comes to catch it. Morales might have to take this shot. Morales at the buzzer. Munster, for the first time in 10 years, they are sectional champions.
I didn't have words. I mean, everything that this group worked for, they earned. And finally seeing them get over the hump and win a sectional title, something that they had planned to do the whole year, actually plan a goal, work together to accomplish it, and the way they did it, basketball day in Indiana, on your arch rival's home floor, to go win a sectional title, it doesn't get any better than that. You can't write it better than that. And just seeing them accomplish that, there's no better feeling. That's what Indiana basketball is about, what happened that night.
Coming into my freshman year, she was always someone I looked up to because she was really good and played her role very well. So I think I wanted to be just as good as her and be as motivated as her. And she's really funny and we get along well.
She's a really kind person. Anytime you need a helping hand or you need someone to lift up your spirit, she's always there for you. And she's super fun to play with on the court because she's really encouraging, and it's just fun to have someone like that on your side.
Emily's such a nice person. You couldn't have asked for a better senior leader than her because she knows when to bring people together. She knows the game insanely well. A nice girl, funny, really funny, and is such a light spirit. She's kind-hearted. If you're having a rough day, she doesn't care. She's gonna make you smile. She's gonna make you laugh, and she's always a pleasure to look forward to seeing in practice, because then you're well, at least I get to see Emily.
As a senior, because she's always with us, but Emily, I'm beyond grateful to have her. Have my cousin for my last senior year right on my side. So knowing her my whole life, I mean, we've even gotten closer this year. So I'm blessed to have all of them on my side for this last senior year because they've made it so fun, and I love it here at Munster.
Funny thing is, when she played in Biddy ball and then at St. Thomas More for 4 years, she was actually the point guard, believe it or not. And then we got to the point here where they said, if you get a rebound, get rid of it, pass it to someone, don't bring it up. But this year, we've seen a huge jump to where she's actually improved defensively in her all-around game, and it's just a simple, she has confidence in herself this year that it wasn't always there, and it makes a huge difference because half the game's in your mind, and we've really seen it this year and seen her grow and try and kind of be a leader, so it's been nice to see. Well, definitely this has been her best all-around year, yeah.
She's been playing for 4 years with the rest of us, and to see her grow and develop her skills into this amazing player is awesome to see. And bringing her cousin onto the team has, you've been able to see her in like a different light around different people, and how supportive she is of her brother when he was playing, and just like how supportive she is of you when you're on the court.
Z's another one that's been a 4-year varsity player. I think she actually started, I don't know if she started her first game as a freshman, but she started probably maybe a fourth of the way through the season she started, and she's been a starter pretty much ever since. She's always been a good shooter, and she has her ups and downs at times, but we know that she can shoot it. She knows she can shoot it, and I think sometimes she's another one that has a tendency to get in her head a little bit when things aren't going right for her. And we've worked on that for 4 years, just trying to get her to understand, listen, we know what you can do, you know what you can do. Things aren't always going to go well, but you got to continue to put the ball up, you got to continue to shoot. If you don't shoot it, you're not going to make it.
Z is my splash brother. She is been with me since the beginning, since freshman year. We both kind of came into the program as freshmen on varsity and had to grind through it. And I think that one thing that I'll take away from like playing with Z is that no matter what, like in any game circumstance, we could look at each other and just like give each other the eyes and know that we have confidence in each other and that we can do it and we can get through tough situations in games, whether our shot's off or if we're down 30 or if we're down 2 in overtime.
Z, let's talk about a goofy kid. Z has the sense of just joy and laughter at everything. Like she can look at me and all of a sudden just start laughing. And I'm like, what are you laughing at? And then we both just start laughing. So we go into laughing spirals a lot. But she's definitely hardworking. You know, she's there for all of her teammates, and you know, she always is there to listen to everybody and be a support system. You know, she might be a quiet kid on the court, but throughout kind of individual conversations, she is a true leader.
The aftermath of the sectional championship game was out of this world. Seeing all the girls get to cut down the nets and just embrace one another and have that trophy to take home with them after coming up short for so many years. You know, it's been 10 years since they've won anything meaningful, and you know, that's a long time. But I think the biggest payoff for the girls was the fact that they got to do it together. It wasn't even about winning the actual sectional. It was the bonds that they had formed together and that they had shown throughout the year. And you saw them grow with each other each and every single game. The energy was unreal. It was unrivaled, the amount of growth that I saw from this team compared to not just other Munster teams, but other sports teams that I've watched and had the chance to be a part of in general.
The boys team has had a lot of success right under Coach Hackett for the last 2 decades, and the girls team maybe just gets overshadowed a touch, right? And you guys haven't won a sectional in 10 years, 2009, 2010. You hadn't won conference in a while. You did all that this year. How about the season you guys have had so far?
You know, it's been a dream season. Last year, and it's funny you say that, last year at our banquet.
Yeah.
I told everyone, you know, we keep going up there and we watch Mike Hackett's team, the boys, they're winning sectionals and conference titles every year, and we haven't had any hardware to share. Talk about it. And I told everybody, I said, this group's going to win some hardware this next year. And we turn around, we go 22-5, win the most wins, you know, in school history, win a conference, and win a sectional title. I mean, you can't ask for anything more than that.
It was never about competing with the boys program or even showing that they had to win a sectional title, otherwise the season didn't matter. That wasn't the point. The point was growing together as a family and getting something done that they all could share. And it's what basketball is about here.
I've seen girls who have just met each other here and all they do is hang out now. And it makes me happy because that's what this program's about. I mean, yes, it's about basketball. Yes, winning is a lot. I mean, love winning, but the relationships you grow with people it can blow your mind, and it's truly, it means a lot, because this program, in my opinion, has some of the nicest, kindest people that I have ever met in my entire life.
It's more than winning. I mean, that's a byproduct of all the things that we're doing. You start working hard, you start doing the right things, you treat people right, you start winning. You know, that just happens.
It was kind of always demonstrated that, you know, I got your back, you got mine. Like, we're gonna do this together, we're gonna rise up, and we're gonna be one unit.
These girls will forever be bound by the sport that they grew up playing in the state that grows basketball here. And when they look back on their lives and all the things that they've accomplished as they grow older, I think they'll always be able to look back at this team and say that they are who they always said they were. Forever. A family.
1, 2, 3!
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Okay. Take action.
All the bloopers are just gonna be me.
I played against Z in middle school. I got distracted when Delaney's dad went.
All the girls are a fantastic environment for growth, both in, I just spit, in basketball.
What up? Was good. One time during summer conditioning, the coaches made us run, and people started throwing up because we had to run so hard. I think that was the hardest day. Just so much running. Physically, it was the worst day ever.
Name all 5 Great Lakes.
Erie, Huron, Michigan, Ontario, and come on.
Wait, can we swear in this?
How many fluid ounces per gallon?
Oh, I honestly don't know. 32?
Nope. 128.
Wow.
Oh my God, I know this. Don't give me the answer. Don't give me the answer. I know it. I know it. I know it.
Am I even in the camera? Okay. Good. Need everyone to see me.
This is important. Stop.
Can you stop taking pictures of me?
Oh no, I'm filming you.
Can you stop filming?
Are you gonna do something with this?
Yeah.
No, it could be good bloopers.
Lake Erie, Lake Michigan, Huron, Ontario.
Granite is an example of which type of rock? Quartzite. No.
Sedimentary.
Oh no.
Igneous.
Really?
Why am I stupid?
I would
I'm
never
in
know
Earth
that.
space.
Maybe I don't know. What's the answer?
Superior.
Oh, are you kidding me? That's my least favorite one.
Yeah! Oh my goodness, okay. See, everyone said it was gonna be really hard, and I got really worried, but that's fine. And I really didn't talk that fast. I don't think I talked that fast. If I did, you could just put in like slow-mo. All right, thumbs up to end it.